I'm in red form, in a red state, such a red case on a red song. In a shared space with my shareholders, cause we share a bond. Spiritual healthcare, that's real self-care, you won't care for.
I got my Mets hat on to the back. Y'all already know where we going with the stats.
Any artist that's talking garbage and try to curse us, y'all follow a wave and do whatever's current. I follow his ways, I know my turn is coming.
Welcome to New York Giants Full Access. Add it to the cart and we got you. And that's it, man. Go purchase Big Pat Sports Talk merch and support the family, man. And welcome to Big Pat Sports Talk. Thank you for your support. What's going on YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, all platforms? Welcome to another episode of New York Giants Full Access with your boy Big Pat Sports Talk. And today's episode, we're going to be talking about our third round draft pick, wide receiver from Tennessee, Mr. Jalin Hyatt, Mr. 24 miles per hour himself. And I was talking in, Twitter Spaces earlier today, and we were trying to, find out how special this kid really can be in the hands of Brian Daboll and Kafka, and how special he could just truly be as a player as he develops in the NFL. This is his rookie season. It is just training camp. He hasn't had any real live action on the field yet, so it's kind of hard to make predictions about the kid. But it was things that was brought up that he could be as explosive as Odell Beckham was when he got to this team. Odell Beckham, he was catching slants, taking it to the house. He was a route technician. He was an absolute monster for us his first couple of years in the league. And the conversation came up about him, being very explosive like him. And it offended a couple of people because it was like, listen, we cannot compare this dude to Odell Beckham. He's nothing like Odell Beckham. Odell Beckham was an absolute beast. Odell Beckham was a route magician. Odell Beckham was a superstar. Odell Beckham was great. He was the only reason why you were watching the Giants during that period of time. And all that is very true. And to be honest, I agree with them to a certain extent. I'm not comparing this dude to Odell Beckham. I'm not comparing this dude to any previous receiver with the Giants. Me personally, I think Jalin Hyatt is going to be Jalin Hyatt. I think he's a special talent and he's a unique talent. And he has a speed factor that is, it's kind of weird, man. It's kind of like Randy Moss. Like, not saying that he's Randy Moss. Don't get it twisted. But Randy Moss had a speed that was absolute crazy. He was running so fast it looked like he wasn't even trying. That's the type of speed this kid has that he's showing in camp. And speed, when you see it on tape, you know speed when you see it. When you see his speed on tape, it's unquestioned that this dude is has another gear, a level above the competition. So in that aspect, I am comparing him to Randy Moss. And sometimes you can watch Randy Moss and be like, man, he ain't even running. But for some reason, a dude can't catch up to him. It's kind of weird, man. It's like those long stride type runners, like Calvin Johnson. It looked like he wasn't moving that fast until he starts pulling off, and it's like, man, what is going on? Like, this dude is literally jogging, but he's leaving everybody. It's because he's a long strider. He's picking up 10 yards before you're picking up 6. And that's why he's faster than you. But in all true honesty, the player that I would compare him to is Mr. Desean Jackson. Formerly of the Eagles, formerly of the Buccaneers, formerly of the Washington football team. And he played for the Ravens for a second. And the Raiders. If you're a Giants fan, you know all about Mr. Desean Jackson. When Desean Jackson came into the league, man, he had a speed element that was dynamite, bro. and you knew what he was going to run, but you still couldn't stop it because they normally put him in position to where he's going against your third or fourth corner, and there's no third or fourth corner that's going to run with Desean Jackson. It's just not. And sometimes he was on the outside and just ran past you. He was a long strider to be a smaller stature type guy. And, man, I think Desean Jackson was about 5'10", 5'11". Not mistaken. He was about 5'10", 5'11", if I'm not mistaken. But he had a long stride, too, and he was just fast, bro. That's what Jalin Hyatt reminds me of, man. One of those guys that has that element of speed that's just uncanny. It's like he's not even running fast, but he's fast. Those type dudes are dangerous because if you get them in space, they catch the ball, they just gone. And that's what I compare him to. I know y'all remember how Desean Jackson used to just torture us when he was with the Eagles. 60-yard touchdown here, 30-yard catch here, 50-yard touchdown here. Punt return to bring them back from 21 points down in the fourth quarter to end the game 38-31. Like, I know y'all remember that, and I couldn't stand it. But we might have that on this team, and we can have this generation's NFC East Slim Reaper and Jalin Hyatt, because he has that type of talent. He has that type of speed element to his game to where if you're a third or fourth corner, you could kiss him goodbye, man. His speed is ridiculous, and he learns the little nuances of route running that Desean Jackson gained. Like Desean Jackson, he had that little step to the inside to make you pull up a little bit, and then he was just fast enough just to run past you, and boom, as long as that quarterback could put it out there, Desean Jackson was going to get it, and it was going to be a touchdown. Jalin Hyatt has that same type skill set. And if I was to compare him to anybody, that's who I would compare him to. And that's not a bad comparison because I think he could be greater than what Desean Jackson was because he has a better mindset towards the game of being great. Desean Jackson was just good. He'll wake up in that morning, get up, and outrun you for a 60-yard touchdown, at least one in one game. He was good. But if he really, really put the work ethic into it as far as being great, not saying that he didn't work out, not saying that he didn't take his craft seriously, because he did. But I think if he would have took it a little bit more seriously when it came to actually learning the nuances of that route running, to get people more off their base, to get people picking and choosing more to what he was going to do, I think that dude could have been damn near unstoppable. And I think this is what Jalin Hyatt can actually achieve. And I think he wants to achieve that by the way that he talks, by the way that he acts, by the confidence that he has. Some people are going to call it arrogance. Some people are going to call it whatever to make it a bad thing about the kid because they just don't like the Giants and they don't like the kid. But he has this smooth confidence about himself. He has this smooth confidence in when he talks. He has, you know, that this kid is really getting in the mental reps. He's getting in the classroom studying. And I think once we get him, once he gets with some receiver coaches and works on his route running in one of these off seasons, not saying that he's going to be bad this season. I think he's going to put up some good numbers this season. But once he really put in the work, once he really learns the NFL way, this dude's going to be, man, he's going to be something to see. And one point that I brought up with him is don't force him to be receiver one. I know I made videos about question mark receiver one and everything. He can be, but I don't think this is the type of player you force him to be something. You just let him go out there and be the absolute weapon that he is. If you need to line him up in the slot to get over that third DB because he's just better than him, put him in the slot and let him beat that guy down. If he gets good enough to where he gets off the press, to where he could back the DB's hands down and not get pressed at the line of scrimmage, have a good off on the line of scrimmage, line him up to the outside. If you feel that he could get you in the screen game and throw a screen to him, and he uses that speed element to get you those extra yards, to keep the chains moving, you could use him in that way as well. You want to use him in jet sweeps, you could use him in that element as well. I think you can use this kid in any way that you want to, because I believe his position is weapon. He's a wide receiver, but his position is weapon. You could use him in any type route, any type way to get yards on the field and get chains moving and get points on the board. That's the way I think that you could use him, especially early in his career. Now, if he gets it down to where he's able to get off that line of scrimmage, he gets stronger, he gets bulkier, he gets into his NFL body, and he shows you that these dudes can't press me at the line of scrimmage, he's making people miss and making people look silly, then yeah, put him out there. But don't force him to be a Justin Jefferson. Don't force him to be a Jamar Chase. Don't force him to be a Stephon Diggs. Don't force him to be those guys. I believe his position on the field is weapon, and we'll see what this kid can do moving forward. But if I was to give him a comparison to anybody, it would be Desean Jackson, man. A taller, more advanced version of Desean Jackson when he gets further into his career. I'd like to thank you guys for watching. Shout out to Giant Social for supporting the channel, for becoming an official sponsor of the channel. Go check them out. Link will be in the description. Very cool guys. Glad they chose me to represent their organization at Big Pat Sports Talk with New York Giants full access. It's pretty dope, and it's an honor to do that, for somebody to recognize you for your content and recognize you as a great content creator. It's pretty dope. But hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that big blue join button. And this has been New York Giants full access with your boy Big Pat Sports Talk. And you know I'm going to talk my talk no matter what you thought. And Jalin Hyatt, use him as a weapon. Don't force him to be anything but himself. And until the next episode, you know what it is, man. Peace. This is a Big Blue Crew production.